Hello and welcome to the VGM Lounge. I'm one of your hosts, Derek Jones, and with me today I have my co-host and other full host,
Matt Holland.
Hello, Matt. So today we're going to do our first episode, and we're thinking for our premiere episode, what better way to start a video game music podcast than with title screens, right?
Title screens / menu, opening menu music, that kind of thing.
Yeah, title screens, opening videos, basically iconic songs that make you really think of the game when you first put it in, first hit start. The first, intro to a game that really hooks you, right? And what better way to start it than a pretty iconic opening. I really like the Final Fantasy VIII opening because it kind of broke the mold, whereas every other Final Fantasy game up until this point used the prelude, and 8's like, nah, I'm gonna change it up.
Yeah.
So this is the Final Fantasy VIII Overture for Final Fantasy VIII on PlayStation 1, done by Nobuo Uematsu.
Yeah, it fits the theme of that game very well with its military feel and just the aspects.
Yeah, it really gives you Final Fantasy VIII kind of starts in a military college kind of deal, and it really I think it captures that really well.
Yeah. So
I am going to start my set with probably one of the most iconic opening songs to a game. For the N64, done by Koji Kondo, I will do the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time opening. So, I think that's one of the most memorable game songs there is, at least for most generations nowadays. I think many people have heard that opening song.
A lot of people have heard that opening song, especially at this point, and since they've also did they did do a remake of that for the 3DS, didn't they?
Yeah, they remade it for the 3DS. It's many people's first Zelda game. Of course, mine is Link to the Past, and original Zelda for the NES, but many people, Ocarina of Time was their first one, and this song is quite memorable, I think.
Yes. It's very good it's very good, chill, kind of listen to kind of thing to it. It's very relaxing to hear this song.
Mm-hmm. And even if you don't listen to the whole song, obviously it's a pretty short loop. Everyone recognizes that little trill intro. Here, we'll play that. We'll play those first few notes again for you. Yeah, everyone at least remembers those little intro notes, and I think that's a great one to start off on. So, Matt, what do you have up for us next?
Well, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my list, I'm thinking, what can I go? What can I start off with? And I'm actually going to pull a wild card out on you. Let's see here. Go through my my vast collection of stuff right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. Now, this this one came from a game that I played when I was young. My mom used to work at a video rental store. God, I miss those. But there was a
Good
game
old
that was there.
Blockbuster.
Oh, right. But no, this was like a little private place.
Oh,
Little,
yeah.
mom and pop kind of video store. But there was a game that was there, and when I saw it, I was just like, "Well, hell, I gotta play this." And I've loved it ever since. I used to own a copy of it, but I have no idea what happened to it. It has since been lost to time. But one thing that I've always remembered from it is the opening of the game and the soundtrack for it. Let's see.
Okay, what is that game?
That game is actually called Spider, the video game.
You've told me this. You are a bioengineered Spider-Man, correct?
Oh no, not Spider-Man. You literally are a spider. You're a tarantula.
Okay. Wonderful. I'm gonna hook this up here, and we will listen to it. That was Spider. Wow. That song takes you through a journey.
It does, doesn't it? Because like it starts out and you're like, with the little that little synthesizer-iness, and you're just like, okay, yeah, it's like you're Spider, you're sneaking around. Yeah, I can feel that. But then like the guitar, like when that kicks in, you're just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that crap at all.
Right? That is a nice like B-side that song's got. And does it open with the like $1 Million Man, we can rebuild him, make him stronger?
Yeah.
That was a delightful tune. I really I was jamming at first. I was like, okay, this is really chill. And then that midway point hits and the song just completely changes.
It does. And it's just and like that's how the whole game.
That's really interesting.
And one of the other interesting things about the music and the soundtrack through the game is as you're playing it, even if you hit pause to open the track still goes. It doesn't stop, and it just keeps playing that track.
That's really cool. So it doesn't have a menu music; it just has just stage musics.
Correct.
That's cool. Also, I'm looking at this cover. This cover is a tarantula, really, and he's got a knife for a hand, and his other hand looks like maybe a flamethrower or a shotgun.
Yeah. So you start out with knife hand. That's your basic little weapon. It's like you kind of slash at things, but then you can eventually get flamethrowers. My personal favorite is the boomerang. Heat-seeking missiles. You can eventually get body armor and grenades.
That's crazy.
And it's a platformer. It's a platformer game.
Wow. This B-side though, I love it.
Right?
Really, really about that. I enjoyed it a lot. That was a good left field pick.
Yeah, it's one of my great favorite games, and I have to own it again and play through it.
I enjoyed that a lot. Okay. Well, you went very atmospheric for that second one. See, a lot of my tracks I went with some classics, the ones that a lot of people would recognize and hear. I do have some lesser known ones, but most of mine for this first episode, I really want to hit the just those iconic opening songs. So for the next one, I'm gonna go for a Super Nintendo game, Secret of Mana. Many people have heard of this game. One of my favorite things about this game, this opening in particular, is me and my friends always joke about the whale noise at the beginning. So, directed by Hiroki Kikuta, this is Secret of Mana. So that's another track that has a really good B-side where the song kind of crescendos into a much more intense form of itself. I really like the beginning. It's got a gentle piano. really like it really speaks to what kind of adventure it's gonna go on, how it builds into this like grander and grander scale.
Yeah, I see. I know what you mean. I mean, and that whale sound
Yeah.
in the beginning of it, it's just like, oh, all right, how are we going to start this song off? A pod of whales.
Yes. And it's something that like I'll never forget. Like as soon as you turn on Secret of Mana, you hear that noise and you're like, this is what I'm here for.
Yep. You hear that noise and you're just like, that's Secret of Mana.
You've played that game enough, like you could be in a completely different room and you just hear someone turn on a Super Nintendo and you hear that noise and you're like, oh, Secret of Mana, that's what that is. And I love this opening. It's very beautiful.
The classics.
Oh yeah. So what do you have for your second track?
Alright, for my second track, you're in for a treat with this one, because this is I'm going old school but new school at the same time. So it's an old school track, an old school series, but it's the latest rendition. And every time I hear this song, I know I'm in for a fantastic game and something that will satisfy my RPG cravingness, to put it in like a simple term.
Oh yeah.
Alright, and that song is the Dragon Quest Overture. Specifically, this one is the newest one of the series of Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Yeah, you definitely can't get more iconic than the Dragon Quest opening.
No,
That's a good
you
one right
can't.
there.
And this definitely is a very iconic one for me. Because, I'm not afraid to admit that, I was a little late getting into some of the more classical video game franchises. So for me, my first introduction to this whole series was actually on the Game Boy Color, with what I knew it at the time being, us America having to change titles on video games.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Warrior 3. And
Yes.
I got that as a Christmas gift. And so it's got nostalgia to it. But it's just, especially when it hits that part where, when the trumpets, like, kick in, and it's just like, this is, like, I'm gonna look.
It's really like a grand adventure kind of
Yeah.
theme.
And each game, for me, has kept that promise. It's been a grand adventure. Whether it be here's set characters, or my preferred way is when you get to make your own party,
Yes.
pick their class and everything. And for me, when it's that option where you get to customize your party and level up and gain different abilities, for me that's the more video game version of like a tabletop RPG. So like your Dungeons and Dragons, your Pathfinder, and so forth. So as much as I love Final Fantasy, I think Dragon Quest fills a niche for me that Final Fantasy can't.
Oh yeah, and when that classic Dragon Quest theme hits, that it's so good.
It is. It's
wonderful. I love this. I love this ending too.
Oh, it's very good.
That's really nice.
It's breathtaking for me sometimes, especially when I see like the newer things come out for it.
Oh yeah. All right, so you went with a really recognizable tune, or rather one that's been in the series throughout. So I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to go with the Fire Emblem. Well, technically it's Fire Emblem 7, but it was the first one that ever came to America. For the Game Boy Advance, it was just titled Fire Emblem, but of course, this was the 7th one that came out in Japan. And ever since...
Is that the one with Lyn?
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes, this is the one with Lyn. And ever since this game, this theme has been... It's a prevalent theme. You even hear it in the newest Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's they use it as the school bell theme, which I think is really interesting.
Funny fact. Since they announced Fire Emblem Three Houses, when I first saw it, my dyslexia kicked in, and so I will forever and always refer to that game as Fire Emblem Tree Houses.
Yes. I did a little lot when they were talking about it on the Treehouse Live at E3. But
so you even said it right there. You said Treehouse.
Yeah. So without further ado, the Fire Emblem main theme. So that was the Fire Emblem main theme. Really iconic song. It's been used pretty much throughout every other game in the series since then, to some degree at least. Now, Matt, you've never played this series, but what do you think of the song?
I thought it's a very good song for that game. I've seen you play it on your your replay throughs when you would show me some stuff, and I'm a little sad as a gamer that I didn't get to play that series. Like I consider myself a gamer, but like again, like I've said on Dragon Quest when we listened to that one, I was late on things. I never really had like access to a lot of systems or anything like that. So getting to like essentially going back and playing these older games is fresh for me. So hearing these songs, especially for Fire Emblem, it's it's like oh, this is your first time playing the game, so it hasn't like lost anything to me. It's all new. And I really enjoy it.
I've heard great things of Three Houses. It's a lot of people's first one they're getting into. I definitely suggest it. I'm probably going to be getting it here soon and doing a playthrough on the New Game Plus channel.
Nice. Which of the tree houses are you going to join?
Probably all of them eventually, but I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in blue.
Okay. Yeah. If I pick the game up, I'll probably go yellow.
Yellow is another one I'm debating. I'm between the two right now. I haven't quite decided. But yeah, I really like how it's got this like. It's kind of got like a march to it, because it is more of a military stylized game, and I like how the theme itself is almost a march. It's like a heroic, triumphant kind of march to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, because it definitely has that march to it.
The drum really carries that essence into it.
Yeah.
Alright, so what do you have for us next?
Alright, so what I have for you next is, and it's a title screen. It's a title screen that's close to my heart. And it's also a series that it's, for as many games that are out for it now, it's still very underground, lesser known, but still in the area of, oh yeah, I know that game. But meeting a person who has played all of them through now is a sight to see.
I'm excited to hear what it is.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's a classic for you. The title of the song is Hell's Whisper, and it is from Disgaea Hour of Darkness.
I gotta say, I love the Disgaea series. I've played through all of them. Great music. Very interesting. They don't necessarily match the game. Or they do, but in a weird way.
Yeah. It's especially in like the later ones, which from like number 2, and we'll get to that title another time, because we were going with no lyrics titles and openings in this one.
Oh yes,
but
shout out to many great openings with music, with lyrics.
Oh, with lyrics, yeah. Because I can think of so many right now, but we
limited songs we can play on each episode.
But yeah, it's like Hell's Whisper is different from every other of the Disgaea openings, and I say that because this one has more of an ambient. It's like a soothing yet creepy kind of vibe, and when you play the game, you're just like, well, it kind of matches, but it's also kind of weird because of the way that the game is set up.
Well, without further ado, let's get into the track. That's Disgaea for the PS2.
was Hell's Whisper. Now, this actually was an extended edition as opposed to the original uh, game, which I kind of like a little bit more because it adds a little bit more to the depth.
Yeah.
The original again was mostly just that very beginning part, kind of like on a loop. So with
Hmm.
like that music box sound, and I think it's the music box version that I really like, and I actually would love to own a music box that plays that every time I open it. I think that would be a very fun knickknack to have.
That would be delightful. Yeah, let's hit that opening again. I really enjoy how the later parts of the song. It's got a lot of different like emotions and feelings to this one track. It's
Hmm.
kind of goofy at times, kind of playful, but then kind of like very emotional and like majestic in a way.
Yep. Yeah, it's right here where it gets into that more mystical, just like, oh,
Yeah, it's got like a
kind of
mystical and
has
playful kind of tone.
like a mystical, playful kind of tone. I guess something you would say it's like more akin to like a cross between, like first coming like Belle first coming across Beast's castle and exploring it, and then like another, but like crossing it with like Alice in Wonderland kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think that's like the kind of feeling they were going for because the game actually starts in a very interesting and weird castle. So it has that like kind of majestic feeling, but a little bit mystery behind it, so you don't really know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I mean, and you don't really know what's going to happen because I mean, it's just like as you go through the story. I mean, it's several different things that you see in the beginning. So it's like not only our main character Laharl, um, waking up and figuring out the events that have occurred since he taken his nap. And then you have your first party member Etna and her side story, and figuring out like she acts all big and bad, but she actually has like a hurry, and complete chapters of the game you start to slowly figure out her storyline and what she's all about. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I really like how it's interesting with the type of game that this is. It the playstyle kind of remains through the rest of the series, but the other series, rest of the Disgaea series, all has definitely different personality to it. Wow, I don't know which one to play next. You know what? I got a lot here. Thinking.
Thinking hard, thinking hard.
Because I always try to follow yours with something that makes sense to that.
Mm.
That's the goal. You know what? For my next track, I'm gonna follow Disgaea with something completely different. Although it's gonna have a similar similar start feeling. This song has a very distinct opening that many people have heard. It's pretty iconic. For the NES, I'm gonna play Mega Man 2. This song opening has kind of two parts, and I think most people recognize the second part more than the first part. But yeah, here's gonna be Mega Man 2. and that was Mega Man 2's intro. I think the second half of that song is the one that really people really know, but that's actually the full opening. The intro beginning part, it pans up a building basically, and then when it gets to the top, that's where you'd hear if you just basically hit start when the game turns on.
I definitely got up and danced when that part 2 kicked in.
Oh, that B-side is bumping.
It's true. I mean, it's because it starts like again because like you said, most people know that second half to that intro.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like with the way that it starts, you're just like, there's no way this is a Mega Man game.
Yeah, because this.
I mean, this
part right here, it's all like calm. You're like, okay, this is nice. And then it slowly goes up and goes up, and then when that B-side hits, also when that second half of the B-side hits, when those like the bass starts kicking in, and they're all just random and everywhere, I love that.
Yeah.
Is that pause? That because this part goes hard, and then I love the second half here.
It's just, I'm still just jamming to it.
Oh, this is a jam right here. This part here, the in the background, I love that.
So, the synthesizer version of Slap.
Right? Those like synth hits? It's like they're like synth orchestra hits. I love them. It's just straight up synth orchestra hits back there. And I love the little doo-doo-doo. No, it ends on.
Yeah.
That's a classic right there.
It's a solid game with a solid track. Now, Derek, I hope you're ready for my next track.
Always.
Because this one is... I'm excited because we're getting new stuff soon. But to me, and some people might, look at me and be like, what do you mean? Like, this is more iconic to you? To me, this is the more iconic opening title screen theme for this particular game series. Because, I mean, at this point, there's already been, 5, 6 games. Well, probably 5 games. Maybe 6. No, 6. There's been about 6 games before this particular opening comes in. But I love it because of the way that it sounds. And people will say, people will say what the instrument actually is, which is they say it's French horns, and I say these are trumpets, hands down.
Now, are you?
And I love it.
What is the title of the game you're talking about?
The title of this game, and it has 3 different titles. I'm talking about Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Yes, the trumpet generation, or French horn generation, depending on who you ask. I have always loved 3rd gen Pokemon. And the music in it... By the way, if I wasn't limited to... If this is a free play, I would have so many songs to play. 3rd generation has one of my favorite gym themes. It's got so many songs that we're going to play. We have so many episodes planned, and this is just the title track episode, so definitely look forward to some future battle themes, boss themes. We're definitely playing more of a lot of these games.
Oh, yeah.
So without further ado, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald's opening.
Fire up that track. And there you go.
I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever listened to that in its entirety. I didn't realize it ended like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It gets. I mean, it stays peppy throughout the whole thing. Like it keeps the excitement going.
Oh yeah, and see, I usually only hear this part, and then I hit start, and it goes to the next screen. Obviously, if you've played the game, you definitely know that. It's got basically two halves to the song, much like Mega Man 2 does, where it's got like an intro leading up to the title screen. So it plays this little opening cinematic, opening video, and it's got this song here.
And which let me say something about this opening little video. And I don't care what people tell me, that kid has white hair.
I've always thought Brennan has white hair. Brennan is in character name. It's not a hat. That's white hair.
It's not a hat. That's hair.
I've always taken to that. But you get this little like. It's actually got a reprise of the battle theme kind of, and then this is where the B half is right here. Mm-hmm. And this is where you hear when you hit start, you'll hear that part kick in.
Yep. And again, I mean, it's still the same Pokemon theme with, you know, definitely like a different skin, different, like, you know, a different composition to it.
Yeah, and this was the first game of the series made for the Game Boy Advance, so they had a lot more sophisticated hardware to work with too.
Yes. Which, I mean, I remember when I first bought that, because I bought Ruby, and I remember I bought it as a, I don't think it was a bundle at the time, but I remember it was after Christmas. You got those gift cards, and you got Christmas cash money, and you're like, I gotta run to the store. And I remember I went to Walmart, and I went hard. I doubled down. I got the red Game Boy Advance SP and Pokemon Ruby.
See, I got this for my birthday, which is actually just in a few days, in late August. I got the GameCube adapter thing that lets you play Game Boy Advance cartridges. I got Pokemon Sapphire and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which is a very good birthday for me.
That's a very good birthday.
Right. I think I bought one of them, and then one was a gift, and then another one was a gift. But when I heard that opening, I was very excited because you can tell just how many more sound channels the Game Boy Advance has over the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Okay. So for years, you went a series that's been around, and basically the third generation installment with a theme that's kind of been prevalent throughout. I'm gonna go the start of a series that's going strong. The series I'm talking about is for the Super Nintendo. It's the first game in the series, but I think they're up to 8 at this point. We're going Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo.
Oh.
And let me say, this song is a banger.
Get your engines revved.
So that's a delightful little short track.
Oh man.
But I mean, it hits you right out of the gate, and it's got so much stuff going on. They really put a lot of the different Super Nintendo sound channels, and they throw random instruments just at you at all directions in that song.
Yeah, you're not really sure, like, you know, it's just like, okay, it's his dude on the bongos. Oh wait, now he's switching to the rubber band.
Right? I love the little the rubber band noises, as you called them.
Yeah, the rubber bands.
This song's got so much going on. It's got like a guy...
Someone playing a vuvuzela.
It's the Vuvuzela. The guy's jamming on one of those like washboards. You got like pots and pans banging. There's like a whole like just jam club of like kids just grabbing random things and just making sound effects, and I love it. It's delightful.
It's so fun. So much fun.
A little fun track for you.
I mean, and who doesn't love Mario Kart?
I mean, Mario Kart's a series it's still going strong. Granted, that's...
I mean, I'll tell you who doesn't like Mario Kart, and it's the person who's losing currently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, though even if you're in last place, you can still have fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still have a lot of fun. I mean, hell, look at me. Every time I play the game, I play Bowser. Am I going to win a race? Probably not, but I'll have fun doing it.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a fun party game, and with a track like that, it just gets you. You're like, I'm here to have fun. It's not serious. I mean, it can definitely get serious, but with an opening track like that, you know you're gonna have some fun.
Oh yeah. All right, Dick. I'm looking at my track list right now, and I got a problem.
What's your problem?
Well, the problem is I have 3 songs that I'm looking at right now, and I gotta pick one right now.
You gotta pick the next one.
I gotta pick the next one, and I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go with an update to a classic, a left fielder, or a game that is true to my heart?
I say go true to your heart.
True to my heart it is. Alright. Now get ready for this one, because this is a game, and I remember in the days of yore when Blockbuster was still a thing.
Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
I would go, and I specifically remember I rented this game for Blockbuster for 2 weeks in a row just so I could finish it.
It's gotta be a long one then.
This game originally came out for the PS2. That game is Okami.
That was a delight.
And there you have it, the opening theme, or the title theme, for Okami. A game whose the art style and gameplay still fascinates me to this day, which is why I own the game 3 times.
Oh, it's nice, and you gotta. There's nothing wrong with a game that says its title within the very first seconds of the title screen playing.
Oh yeah, very confident.
Love it, and then it captures that the Asian feel just perfectly.
Yes, yeah, it definitely does, and through this game, I mean, I love its. Of course, it's not the exact folklore tale, but a more like a more depicted version or fantasy-esque version of the tale of
Amaterasu?
Amaterasu and the great evil known as Yamada no Orochi, which don't want to give out any spoilers, uh, who is not the biggest bad in that game, but is definitely a big name.
Oh yeah, If you know your Japanese folklore, that's definitely a name you're familiar with. And even if you don't know folklore, you've probably played. If you've played any RPGs, Orochi is definitely a name of a big bad that usually shows up at some point, or just a very hard monster.
Definitely. I mean, there's an Orochi in Dragon Quest 3 that you fight. It's a very iconic monster. I mean, it's always going to be used. And another character that is in the game, Susanoo,
Yes.
very big Japanese lore god.
Yes.
I mean, and that guy is referenced all over the place. But I mean, this is a game that really strikes to me because the whole game is you're playing a piece of art.
Yes, and your attacks are art too.
The attacks are art. I mean, it's beautiful. If you've never played it, please go out and get it. I mean, the remastered version on the PS4 is only, I think, like $20. It's well worth every single dollar.
All right, Matt, we're coming down to maybe one or two more tracks each. So I've still got a few here that I'd like to play. I mean, I've got a lot I'd like to play, but obviously I gotta pick one or two more. Between my all-time favorite game, my all-time favorite opening, we've got a really atmospheric opening that really tells you what the game's all about. And we've got one that's a little left field. Which of those four should I pick? My favorite game, my favorite opening, the atmospheric one, or left fielder?
I'm going to go for the obvious choice. I'm going to say, Derek, your favorite game.
Favorite game. Well, anyone who's heard me talk about it, my all-time favorite game has to be Final Fantasy Tactics for the PS1.
Okay. Yep. Not the PSP remake.
Oh, no. I mean,
but the PS1.
PSP's remake is fun, but the classic for PS1. Now, funny story about this opening. When I was younger, I used to always skip it just because I was always excited to get into the game. I would make it a challenge to, get to it and hit the continue, as quick as I could. So I didn't hear the song nearly as much as I played the game. But I still love this opening song. So without further ado, my favorite game of all time is opening, Final Fantasy Tactics. And there was the opening to Final Fantasy Tactics. I really like that one because it's not like any of the other ones we've heard, which have a kind of just a rhythm that you can hear. It's designed to just keep playing until you hit start. This game, it's got an opening video, an opening cinematic kind of deal that plays from when the game loads until it gets to the point where it's at the title screen. And then if you don't press anything before the song is over, it actually goes into a completely different one of three videos that either explains the game, explains the jobs, or explains a little bit more about the story about what happens before you start the game. So I really like it how it's not designed to loop. It's designed to just tell the story from the beginning.
All right, so here's a one that you probably weren't expecting from me. But when I sat and I thought about it and I was making this list of songs of opening titles, what's one that I absolutely love and one that gives a sense of like, real like a sense of the game itself, like how is this game going to play out? How am I supposed to feel when I play this game? Or how will I eventually feel when I play this game?
Yeah.
And the title of this song is also the title of the game itself,
Okay.
which is The Last of Us.
I really like that.
And there you go, The Last of Us. It's, for me, that song gives off a sense of
You really don't know.
journey and melancholy.
You really don't know anything about the game when you go into that. You don't know what you're gonna expect, and I like that.
No.
You can tell it's kind of got like a wilderness feel to it almost, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I could hear this.
It's got like a wilderness outdoors kind of thing. I believe there's parts of the song where like you can hear like it sounds like someone
there's
walking
footsteps.
on gravel.
Yeah. Like someone walking down a dirt road in like the middle of a forest is the feel I get when I hear this song.
Yeah, so like I said, it gives you that sense of just like, okay, I'm going on a journey, like where I'm trying to get somewhere, and at the same time, like I said, it has like a feeling of melancholy to it. So it's like a little bit of a sadness that you can't place. You know, a little bit of like drama.
Yeah, and definitely don't want to spoil what happens, but definitely check this game out. Fantastic story.
Oh, it's a fantastic story to that game. I mean, if you're a fan of games that play like you're in like a movie or something like that,
Yeah.
definitely check this game out.
And for my final track, I'm gonna play what I consider probably the greatest opening song to any video game ever. One of the most emotional songs I've ever heard. It speaks for itself. Without further ado, the opening track, title track, to Xanarkand from Final Fantasy X. That is a song that gives you goosebumps and brings a tear to your eye.
Oh my god, you're not kidding. I mean, you play to...
And this doesn't just play in the title. It plays also another point in the game where when you first start, you see this opening, and the main character says, "Listen to my story." And
yeah, I was just about...
Yeah, and then the game basically plays, and you see everyone have this really melancholy look on their face, and you hear this beautiful song, and you're like, what is this going to be about? And by the time you get to this point, you understand what everyone's feeling. You get why this song is what this song is. And it's beautiful.
It's a great game in the series, and Derek, I'm going to say, because of you right now, I'm a little torn because I've just started that replay through Final Fantasy VIII, and even though I know the remaster is coming out soon, so that was a terrible decision.
Yeah, hearing this song makes me want to play 10 every time.
Yeah, I definitely have that feeling now.
I've played through the game so many times, but every time I hear the song, I'm like, man, I gotta play it again. It's just such a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful song. It's a very beautiful song. There's a lot of really good music throughout that thing. I mean, I know some people are kind of iffy, and you know, we even pick fun at some of the voice acting through that, but it's still a good game. Like, it's still a great game in the series.
And the song itself is just a work of art. Song done by, of course, Nobumatsu. Part of the soundtrack was done by Masashi Hamazu, but this song in particular was Umatsu's, and one of the last ones he did in the series, because he still works on the Final Fantasy series, but he had basically solo reign through most of the games, and this is the game where he started passing off the ropes, but this is his track, and it's not only a beautiful send-off to like him passing on the reins, but it just has so much like it's conveying. Yeah, I mean, you get a sense, like, you know, especially seeing all the looks on people's faces, it's a sense of farewell. Yeah. And once you play the game, you understand why this song is what it is.
I gotta play that game again.
Before we get started on this last song, I want to give a huge shout out to Brent Weinbach and Rob F. Switch from the Legacy Music Hour. I've watched all other episodes. They were my inspiration for recording this podcast, and much like them, I share a huge love of video game music, and I hope one day I can put out a podcast that's almost as good as theirs. Alright, Matt, you have the last song of the episode.
With a upbeat track. One that Derek, you're gonna really love. You're gonna love this track so much. And I kept listening to. You don't know what I'm about to play. You don't know what I'm about to do. But you're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it.
I'm ready.
This game is a great classic that came out on the N64. Oh, so many years ago, and once you hear this track, it stays in your mind. It stays there.
What's the game, Matt?
The game is Buck Bumble, and if you've never heard of it, that may not be a bad thing.
What a way to end an episode. This song, it's basically the polar opposite of the last song we just heard.
Oh, the polar opposite.
You thought we were going to do something beautiful. We're ending with what might as well be the video game version of Never Gonna Give You Up. At least it is in our friend group. We love it. We mostly hate it.
Do you like beatboxing? Do you like beatboxing, Derek?
Without further ado, Matt.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumble. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity buck bumble. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumble. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumble. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumble. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumble. Bump to the boot to the boot to the boot boot. Bump to the bass to the bass bass. Bump to the boot to the boot to the boot. Bump to the bass to the bass bass. Bump to the boot to the boot to the boot boot. Bump to the bum to the boot to the bum to the bass, bum to the boot to the bum to the boot to the bum to the bass, bum to the boot to the bum to the boot to the bum to the bass.
So, I hope you enjoyed that, everybody. That is, that's Buck Bumble. Matt, you are a unique individual for ending our episode on that song. I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed our first episode. Definitely comment and tell us what your favorite track of the episode was. Tell us some of your favorite title screen tracks. I'd love to hear them, and I always want to hear more songs.